Dear Founder, as you know, there's no blueprint for entrepreneurship. You wear so many hats, you burn the midnight oil, you pour your heart and soul into everything that you do. But without a doubt, the journey is worth every single second that you put into it. I'm Lindsay Pinchuk, host of the Dear Founder podcast. I say this because I've lived it for over a decade. I started my first company with $500 in my pocket and a baby in my belly. I grew it and I sold it all. This podcast is my weekly letter to you. We'll talk all things starting, growing, nurturing, and in some cases, even selling a business. Together with some of my closest contacts, I'm here to help you find your own success, whatever that means to you. The ride as a founder is the ride of your life. So come on in and join me for another episode that will get you one step closer to reaching your own founder goals. Okay, welcome back to a bonus episode of Dear Founder. Yesterday, Peloton's Jenn Sherman was back with me talking all things social media. It's a great episode. If you haven't listened to it already, you're absolutely going to want to listen to it. And you also will probably want to listen to the first interview I had with Jenn back in the summer in July. I will link it in the show notes. But most notably, we talked yesterday about how Jenn has some major imposter syndrome issues and insecurity issues when it comes to using social media for her own personal brand. And today I'm going to get into the insights piece and how to know if what you're doing is working. But before we do, I'm your host, Lindsay Pinchuk. And for those of you who are new around here, I have been building brands for nearly 25 years. And in 2010, I started my own company with a $500 investment. Keep in mind, this was before social media was even a thing. I grew that business to reach 3 million users per month across multiple platforms and generate 7 figures in revenue for 6 years straight. I also grew that business alongside the growth of social media. When I first started my company, Facebook personal pages were a thing. I think there was LinkedIn and maybe a little bit of Twitter. That was kind of when Twitter parties were all the rage. But I grew this company alongside all of the growth of Facebook, of Instagram, of Snapchat, of TikTok, of LinkedIn, and everything in between. I managed the strategy, content, and execution for that company for 9 years. And believe it or not, often I did it all on my own. There were times here and there where I had a little bit of help, but most of the time it was just me. And now I am doing the same all over again for my own personal brand and for Dear Founder. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, I would love it if you left a rating or review. All you have to do is go to ratethispodcast.com/Dear Founder, and you can leave a rating or review wherever it is that you podcast. When you do this, it helps others to find these incredible stories and all of the information that we share here to support the female founder community. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. So like I said, we're dropping a little bonus episode today. During my conversation with Jenn Sherman, I walked her through looking at her insights on her Instagram, and I felt this would be a really great time for me to share some of that with you and some of the key insights that you can and should be looking at as a small business owner. We're not going to go too deep because I know some of you have no experience in this realm, and I do think it's really important to get used to looking at your numbers, looking at your insights, and really and truly what in fact you should be looking for. Your insights can tell you, wait, let me back up for a second. So the first thing I want to say is I always say that the proof is in the numbers, and the numbers are right in front of you. They don't lie, okay? You just really have to know how to use them. But like I was saying, your insights can tell you how many people you're reaching, how many people are engaging with you. You can even see how many new followers an individual post will get for you. It's really kind of wild. So before I let you in to hear me take Jenn through her insights, I want to share with you some of the key terms and information about your own insights. So first and foremost, do you know where to find your insights? You have to have a business or a creator profile or a business or creator account in order to access this. So if you have a personal account, you're going to want to go into your settings. You're going to want to go into account. You're going to want to go into account type. And you are going to want to make sure that your account is either a business or a creator account. If you do not have necessarily a business and you are simply creating content, you can be a creator accounts really kind of, are for like influencers or people who create content, but you absolutely can go in there and grab that type of account if you do not necessarily have a business. So again, that's, you go into settings, you go into account, you go into switch account type on the bottom, and you can see mine says switch to personal account or switch to business account. I do use a creator account, and there are pluses and minuses to all of that. Not a topic we're going to get into today, but in order to access insights, you need to have either a creator or a business account. So that's the first thing. The second thing, once you have that and you are all set up, I want you to grab your phone and let's walk through this together, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to click the 3 bars in the upper right-hand corner and then click Insights. We're going to talk about mainly 5 important metrics: your follower growth, your audience demographics, your website clicks, your reach, and your engagement rate. So those are kind of the big things we're going to talk about. When you open up your Insights, you see an overview. On the top left-hand corner, it's likely that it's set to the last 7 days. And so that's the time period that we're looking at. And Instagram, when comparing, it will say underneath where it says overview, it is comparing it to the 7 days prior. So that's kind of a comparison number. You have 3 key numbers on the overview that we're going to take a look at. So the first one is accounts reached. That's the first main number under the word overview on the top of the Insights page. And when you click that number, you can click it and it opens up a whole new world of numbers. So yes, you can see the percentage of, accounts reached compared to the period of time prior. But when you click that and you open it up, your accounts reached section really shows you how many unique users have come across your content. So your reached audience will be broken down on that page by follower status. So it'll say followers or non-followers. It'll say gender, where they live, so geographic location, cities, countries. It'll say their age. And you can see the amount of people that you've reached by ads as well if you've chosen to run ads. So sometimes I boost content and it will show me how many people have seen my content because of that. So when you scroll down, you can see your top posts, you can see stories, etc. And you can also see how many unique people have been reached by those pieces of content as well. You'll also see an impressions number. So the impressions is the number of times that all of your posts have been viewed, including repeat views by some of the same users. So that's the difference between accounts reached and impressions. Accounts reached shows you individual people, and impressions is the totality of the reach. So it includes duplicates. Profile activity. So your profile activity also breaks down the actions that users take when they visit your profile. So you can see website taps, you can see call button taps, email button taps, you can see all of those taps. And in order for those metrics, though, to show up, it's really important you have to have the buttons set up. So if you don't have any buttons on your profile that say, email or website or whatever, then those metrics aren't going to be available to you. But the reach is very useful. It's a useful metric because it tells you which of your posts are showing up in the most people's feeds. So it's important that you really take a look at that number. And if you have, let's say, 5 posts and one of your posts has a far lower reach or a far higher reach than the rest of your posts, you want to look at why that is and what it is that you did. Did you do something different? Was it a different kind of style of post? Was it a different time of day? So you want to be able to really take that into consideration. So let's go back, and the next number we're going to look at is your accounts engaged. So your accounts engaged refers to the number of users who interacted with your content beyond just watching it or scrolling past it. So it's really like how many people liked it, commented, saved, shared, replied to your content. It's really people who take that next step in terms of engaging with your content. And this will be broken down by also followers and non-followers, the gender of the people who are following you, geographic location, age, etc. You can also see the content interactions. So you can see the total number of times that people have liked, commented, saved, shared, and done things with your content. And then it also breaks it down on a per post basis. So you can also, this is really important, you can see your top performing posts per category, which is a really cool feature, because if you put out some content that is just, it blows you away in terms of engagement numbers, and it's gotten so many more likes and so many more comments than other pieces of content, you're going to want to look at this and do it again. You're going to want to figure out what it is that you did, and you're going to want to do it again. So then we have, if you go back and you go back to that, the insights overview, you have your total followers. So the total followers allows you to see the total number of followers that you have on your page. You can also see your top locations of followers. You can see age ranges, genders. You can also see follows and unfollows, which is great as well. And you can see, like, when you click the button for more in terms of on the followers page, you can see what, like, per day, if you had a really high number of followers or high number of unfollows. So you can kind of probably trace that back to actions on your account. So for example, on a day when I post something controversial, like about gun control or about anti-Semitism or about vaccinations or whatever, I always get a whole bunch of unfollows, and that's okay. But I know what it is that I've posted that elicits that kind of activity. So you can also see the most active times of the day that your followers are active. So I think that's a really great way to determine what time of day to post so that you can engage with the greatest number of followers. And that is really an important factor. Like sometimes I will say my later account, which that's the scheduler I use, that's a whole other conversation. But sometimes later does not pull the top time of day for whatever reason per Instagram. So sometimes there is a discrepancy. The other thing is when you go back onto the insights page, you can see, so you'll want to also look at the individual posts. And I think that that's a really great, I'm going to show you two different ways that you can do this. But if you go into the insights tab on your Instagram and you scroll down, and let's say you click posts, okay? Scroll all the way down, click posts. And on the top left-hand corner, you're going to see it says posts. It has a time frame, and then it has like a filter. When you click that filter, you can sort it by highest to lowest. You can also sort it by various metrics. One of my favorite metrics, so if you open it up, you can sort it by comments, by follows, impressions, likes, etc. One of my favorite metrics is the follows metric. So if you click that and you hit apply, you can see the number of followers that you received from an individual post. You can also change that last 7 days to last 6 months. And I think that this is a really, really unique feature that a lot of people don't know about, because you can see what posts do really well in terms of engaging new followers to your content. And I will say that, like, I do tend to boost some of my posts, and oftentimes those are the posts that elicit the most new followers on social media. So just kind of an aside. The other way that you can look at the insights for an individual post is go to that post on your grid, and you can click the View Insights link that's on the bottom left-hand side. And that will show you, like, I'm looking at a reel right now, and it shows you how many people played it and viewed it. It'll show you how many people liked it, how many people commented, how many people shared it and saved it, which is also a really great metric as well, especially for an individual post. I think if you look at an individual post and you see that you have a ton of saves on it, that means that you're giving some really good content for people to take a look at and for people to to use later, and that's why they saved it. So you might want to do more of that. And then if you scroll down, you can kind of see all of the other different metrics that are provided. And if you are looking at a post, not a reel, so just a plain asset post, and you go to view insights and you scroll all the way down, one of the things that you can see that I love is you can see how many people were reached from hashtags, which I think is also a really great metric to take a look at. And I think that it's really important to know if you've reached no one from hashtags and you're using hashtags, I think that it's that kind of says something about what it is you're doing, and maybe your hashtags are not the right hashtags. So I think that that's kind of a really cool insight to take a look at it as well. I also think that it's a really cool feature that you can see how many of your followers were reached versus non-followers on a post, because that also helps you determine what kind of content will a new follower maybe see or be shown depending on engagement. And also it helps you to see what kind of content your current followers want to see. So I think those are all really great insights to take a look at, and you absolutely should be playing around with these. Some of my favorite ways to use insights, like I said, you can check out your top posts, so what's working, what's not. You can check out your top stories, what's generating the most engagement. You can see where the most people are following you from. So how old are they? You can check out their demographics. You can check out where they live. You really can get to know who your current customer and who is in your current community based on the demographic information that Instagram is giving you right in your Insights tab. You can also determine website clicks. So if I drop website clicks in my stories all the time for the podcast. Do they work? Do they not work? My insights tell me that. They tell me what works and what doesn't. So we're going to look at Jenn Sherman's insights with her, and you'll hear me explain a little bit more about how to read the insights and what certain things mean. But that said, I do want to preface this by saying that Jenn has a very large following of people, okay? She has 205,000 people following her, and she has a very, very engaged community. And a large part of why she and I started this discussion, and I urged Jenn to put herself out there more, is because she wants to grow on social media. Prior to me giving her any guidance, Jenn was really only sharing in her stories, and it was me. I said to her, what are you doing on social media? When she told me I've never made a reel, I said, well, what are you doing? She said, I'm just posting in my stories. And you'll hear me tell her today, your stories are great. They're a great tool for engaging with your current community, but they're definitely not going to help you grow your current community. You really have to be out there with your reels and with your posts in order to do that. And you're going to hear that in the discussion today. So that said, it really is only natural that when Jenn posted a reel for the first time, it did really, really well, no pun intended. She has a loyal following. They're chomping at the bit to see her and to see her more. And so it only makes sense that when she posted that reel, people went bananas. And as she posts more, they're continuing to go bananas because they want to see her. But on the same token, I want to say that I have an amazing client who has about 1,500 followers. And she also recently posted a reel for the first time announcing the new direction for her own community. And her reel did extremely well. Really, 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 really well. And in just a week, she gained over 60 new followers. So for an account that has 1,500 followers to gain over 60 followers in a week net, that's amazing. So the bottom line, take Jenn's numbers, especially the ones that you see on her reels, like her vanity numbers. Take them with a grain of salt. She does have a big following. This is someone who's in the public eye that we're talking about, and I really want to put that into perspective. But what it comes down to is really showing up and sharing consistently so that your numbers show growth when you open up your insights. No one's looking at you to compare your numbers to Jenn Sherman's numbers. You want to compare your numbers with your own numbers so that when you open up your insights after posting reels for a week or 2 weeks or whatever it might be, are your numbers green? Did your reach go up? Did your engagement go up? And did your followers go up or stay flat? And you'll hear Jenn and I talk about that today as well. So I'm going to turn this over to my conversation with Jenn Sherman, and I will be back with you at the end. Okay. All right, so we're going to walk through your insights because I just want you to take a look at and see kind of what those numbers are based on what you've been posting. So You're going to go to your profile page.
I'm like nervous,
Nervous.
Because this could reveal some horrendous
metrics. It's just me and Denise right now.
That's right. And it is. It's only the two of you.
Go up to the 3 bars in the top right-hand corner.
See already? I don't know what you're talking about. Just kidding. I got it. The 3 dots?
The 3 lines.
3 bars. Yep. Got it. Okay.
You're going to click
Insights.
that and then click Insights.
Okay.
And then on those top 3 numbers, so there's an overview of your insights, and it basically says accounts reached, accounts engaged, and total followers. So those are kind of the basic metrics that you would use on Instagram. Reached is the amount of people who have you have reached with your content, you have seen with your content. Engaged are people who have commented, liked, shared, done things that have actually been engaging with your content. And then, of course, your total followers is your follower count. Can you tell me by looking at this, and we're looking right now at we're looking at, it should be set to the last 7 days in the top left-hand corner. Yep. Can you tell me we're going to do 7 and we're going to do 14 and then we're going to do 30? Because I just kind of want to compare. So for the last 7 days, are you up or down?
I am so pleasantly surprised.
Well, I can't see because your screen
Yes, you can. Just look. You do see. You see plus dirty.
It's grainy. Your screen is grainy. So
ready?
I can't see it. Yes.
Accounts reached. I am up 52%.
Great.
Accounts engaged. I'm up 22%. But why am I up 0% in total followers? That's what I don't understand.
So because it takes time, and follower account does take time to build. And you need to be engaging with people, and you need to be reaching more people. And that's something that followers do not happen overnight. But I would like you to go up to the top left-hand corner and change that 7 days to 14.
Let's go. Let's see. Okay.
So just so you know, when we look at 7 days, we're looking at like the last 7 days compared to the 7 days prior. And so when you think about what you were doing during those 7 days, like you were traveling, you were doing a couple different things. So tell me the 14-day numbers.
Okay. Accounts reached. It's up 228%. Mm-hmm. Accounts engaged up 1,639%. Mm-hmm. Total followers still quite unimpressive, 0.1%. But.
Okay. Now I want you to do, and I'm going to tell you why this is in a second, but I want you to click that top left-hand corner and do 30 days.
Okay.
So we're looking at like the last 30 days compared to the 30 days prior. And it's interesting because the 30 days prior to the last 30 days, you probably made no reels, right?
No reels. Okay, but it does say, so I'm on 30 days. Accounts reached up 55%. Accounts engaged up 9.1%. Total followers 0.3%.
Okay. So that middle number, and I'm going to tell you why it is the way that it is. So the last 2 weeks is really when you've been doing most of this. So we're looking at those 2 weeks compared to the 2 weeks previous when you were doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. That's
and when that engagement number, the reason it's so high is because you posted something that people commented on. And not only did people comment, like thousands of people commented because you had never posted anything like that before. Like when you posted that first reel, I mean, it had been up for 17 minutes when you texted me, and I was like, and I went and looked, and I was like, holy shit. And like, you know, and that's when I was like, you gotta keep posting. And so that also goes to show you have to keep posting. There has to be a consistency. And the reason I told you to do reels in the first place was because you said to me, I haven't grown my following. You know, it's pretty stagnant. You know, it's been the same. And I said to you, well, what are you doing? That's how this came up. And you said, well, I'm talking to people in stories. When you talk to people in stories, you're talking to your current followers. You are not talking to new followers. I mean, every now and then,
no new audience. Which
if you use a hashtag or if you use a geo-target, which you don't, then you might end up in someone else's story. But you are talking to the people who are already following you. Now that you're posting reels, and hopefully we'll get you to start posting just some regular posts too, you will be reaching new people. Instagram prioritizes reels. They will show your reel if it does really well to many people. They will get you new followers. And that's why I also told you that you needed to be tagging your co-instructors and having them share, and even asking them, like, when I tag you in something, can you help me out and share it? And that's okay. They're your friends, you know. And
I don't even have to ask that. Everybody
Okay.
does. We just do that for each other.
And so that, you know, that's something that you should get into the habit of doing, because you will continue to see those numbers rise. But I am very pleasantly surprised with those numbers. It's not surprising by any means. You have a very dedicated following, and now it's just time that you cultivate that into growth for Jenn Sherman. I hope that you found this bonus episode helpful. I hope that you found it helpful for me to walk Jenn through her insights and for me to walk you through yours. You know, a lot of you have reached out to share your own social media struggle with me, whether you're overwhelmed with all of the features or you can't handle all the technical options, whatever it may be, but that you are very just not in the know necessarily about how to use social media for your business and you feel paralyzed. So I do not want you to spend another minute stuck in the social media closet, embarrassed that you can't figure it out. I think you've all seen this week and over the last few weeks with Jenn and our conversation, just how easy it is to come out and say, you know what, I need a little bit of help, and to see how it can help what it is that you're doing. So later this spring, I will hold your hand and walk you step by step through my signature class, which is called Social Media for Small Business Bootcamp. I'm going to be bringing it back. I haven't taught it since last year. It's 5 lessons over 5 days. Will get you set up, running, and understanding not just what to do, but how to apply social media basics for business growth. And we're going to be doing it together. The insights that I shared with you today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper. I'm going to show you how to read them, what to do with them, how to make changes because of them. So a lot of information like that can really get you up and running. You'll also learn what to post where, when, and why. We'll make reels together. You'll learn some of my favorite and easy strategies for growth. So if this sounds like a plan and something that you could get on board with, click the link in my show notes, get on the wait list. You will be the first to know when this goes live, which will be within the next couple of weeks. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for listening to this bonus episode of Dear Found Her. Make sure that you stay tuned. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we have a brand new episode coming your way, and we'll see you next week. Enjoy your weekend.